This might come as a bit of a surprise for you, but the way that game sales worked in Japan in the late 80s was very similar to how they work now. Virtually all of the sales of a game would be in the first week. Then they'd quickly tail off and drop to hardly anything by the time the game had been out a month. Only the biggest of the big-name games would break this pattern. In its first week of release, Mirai Senshi Laos placed 58th on the sales charts. The game was a notorious bomb. Despite that, Mirai Senshi Laos is still pretty interesting. The concept of the game is that in the distant future on another world, each continent is ruled by a hereditary monarchy. When his kingdom has been taken over, Prince Yuppie jumps into a mech along with a squad of his best friends and proceeds to take his country back one piece at a time. The way that works is that you start on a map that's been completely turned blue, indicating that it's been occupied by enemy forces. You move onto a blue square and you can choose to fight a battle to take it back. Win the fight and you can do it again and again. The kingdom is pretty huge. There's dozens of battles that you can engage in, and there are points where even though the path looks open, you have to go around. The good news for you is that you do not have to beat all 42 scenarios to complete the game. Sticking to the main path reduces the number of scenarios you have to beat by about half. After some scenarios, you're rewarded with extra equipment and armor for your troops, but all of those seem to have been placed at bottlenecks, so you can't really miss them. When you choose to start a battle, you're first prompted to build your forces. You'll have a team of 8 units, your commander and 7 platoons. For each of them, you can choose a chassis, and then choose a weapon. The chassis and weapons are heavily affected by terrain, so you definitely want to have a variety. Also, the chassis gives you weapon points, and the weapon you choose needs to cost fewer weapon points than what you select. Basically, if you want to have a big gun, you gotta have a heavy body. Some of the weapons are also indirect fire, incapable of shooting enemies up close, but can shell them from a distance. Now we're finally getting into the battle itself, and here you have 2 goals. Destroy the commanding unit, and destroy the enemy supply ship. If you lose either of those, then you automatically lose the scenario. But you have to destroy both of them to win. On your turn, the first thing that happens is a resupply pod comes out of your ship. This will heal whatever unit you select up to full, and replenish their ammunition. Dealing with that supply pod is the major tactical concern here. Because it can keep healing a unit, including the commander, it'll take a lot of damage to defeat the commander before the supply ship is gone. So you really have 3 options. 1. Concentrate enough firepower that you manage to destroy it in one turn. 2. Spread the damage out a lot. You might not take out the commander because it's going to get priority for healing, but since only one unit can get resupplied each turn, it means you're going to be picking off other ones. 3. Break through the enemy lines and destroy the supply ship. Once the supply ship's gone, you can just wear them down over time, especially if your supplies are still coming. Once you've resupplied, you next have to move your commander unit. This works just like any other strategy game. You can move and then attack. You can also choose to pass your turn if you like the position that you're in, or look around the map. Once the commander's moved, then you can move the rest of your units in any order that you like. When you open up the orders menu, you get a huge list of possible tactics. Selecting one of these will move the unit for you. And that's okay, but you're going to want to micromanage, and to do that you have to select the manual option, which is the last one in the list. Then you can just steer everyone around yourself. When you come into conflict with the enemy, the platoons have 3 units, while the commanding units are just 1. That 1 unit is 3 times as tough, though. Both sides fire simultaneously, and then that's resolved. Combat can be pretty swingy. The correct unit on the correct type of terrain can be a really tough nut to crack. I spent the majority of this battle with both commanding units just pounding on each other, not doing anything. It worked out in the end though, because it tied up the commander unit while I picked off everything else. All the units have limited ammunition as well, and every time they fight, whether it's attacking or counterattacking, a point of it is used up. So another useful tactic is to attack over and over again and try to make them run out of bullets. If you win, then you're offered the opportunity to save, and there's only one battery save position in Mirai Senshi Lios. The biggest single flaw in the game are those tactical battles. Despite how streamlined they are, the battles take a long time to complete. This was a basic scenario, and it took me 40 minutes. So this is a very long game. On the world map, you don't have to fight battles to liberate cities. Those you can just walk into and start chatting with the townspeople, and then once you leave, it'll be changed to your color. There are a lot of things I like in Mirai Senshi Lios. I like how the world map functions as a stage select, and how you don't have to beat everything if you don't want to. I love the mech customization. There's a lot of give and take here that I think works really well. I like the resupply in the tactical battles. It adds a really interesting twist to the strategy. And I like how smoothly those battles play out. Still, this one is a big time commitment, and I even encountered a few bugs while I was playing. It's a decent game though. It didn't deserve to be 58th place the week of its release.